Hello and welcome to another episode of Bored and Annoyed. I am home with the movies.
And I'm Jackson.
And Jackson, how about them Lions?
Yeah, they look fucking terrible.
Bored and Annoyed.
So I'm sick today, and I got sick last night. It was before watching the Lions. So it was kind of like watching them was like having someone jam their finger down your throat when you're sick. I mean, it was disgusting.
So they literally made you want to vomit.
Yeah, the game started with a pick six for the Lions. You're like, oh, this is going to be a good season. First play of the game.
Right.
And then, yeah, everything went to shit. Stafford looked like garbage. The Jets scored on defense, special teams, and offense.
Holy crap.
Yep.
See, I didn't watch the game, so I didn't get all this.
And, okay, so you know what's bad? We have, like, a pretty solid kicker, Matt Prater. He's pretty good. He was 1 for 3 last night on field goals. Stafford threw 4 interceptions.
Whoa.
They put in Castle. He threw an interception. Yeah, it was absolutely atrocious. And yeah, this, it's good to have it happen week 1.
Right.
Because now expectations are where they should be going into the season.
Spoken as a true Lions fan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Stafford's getting killed. I mean, he, like, first quarter, he gets hit, or first half he gets hit in the leg. He's hurt his knee, whatever, hobbles around, keeps playing. Second half, he gets fucking hit from low and high. So he's like down on the field. They put Castle in for a play. It's like, you're down 30 points or whatever. They kept him out there, and he just was throwing interceptions. Today, the story is that the Jets told the media that they knew the signals. So they literally knew exactly what Detroit was doing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bad way to start the year.
You know who got injured and then hurt their leg and then came back?
It was funny.
The bad man.
Jesus Christ. Well, it was funny because I was sitting here with a buddy watching it, Packer fan. We're in Wisconsin. And I looked over and I said, you realize he's over dramatizing this. He's coming back and he's going to be like the hero of the day. I said, tomorrow you're going to have people coming up to you at work. You're going to be like, oh, my grandpa, he stormed the beaches of Normandy. And the person you're talking to is going to be like, well, let me tell you about Aaron Rodgers.
I thought the same thing when he went out, and I gotta say, I actually don't mind that he does it because it gives a little bit of drama to the game.
It's certainly entertainment. Yes.
And the other thing is you do that, you stay out, and you come back. That's a huge injection of adrenaline to your team.
It was impressive, and it was funny because I hate the Packers. I root against them, but at halftime, when I've got a few Bears friends, and they're acting like they won the Super Bowl, and talking shit. And I said, you might want to worry about winning this game first.
Yes.
And don't you have 2 decades now where you should have learned that you shouldn't talk shit?
Yeah.
Nobody can talk shit except for Packer fans. Maybe Vikings fans now. They've been pretty good for a while now.
They have.
But yeah, no, the Packers own the division. And until that man is gone or until somebody can beat them consistently when he's on the field, just keep your mouth shut.
Well, and that's what Khalil Mack is for.
Yeah, and he was a monster in
the first half, and then he disappeared in the second half. Now, I've heard that he was a little out of shape.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced, really.
So we'll see what that's like.
But that's terrifying, that guy. Jesus,
yes.
I mean.
Yeah, he's insane. I mean, I don't understand why we didn't just up the offer for it. Because, I mean, if you know that the Bears are coming after him, do you want to face that twice a year?
See, this is what... Okay,
you've got Aaron Rodgers. You've got to protect him.
Okay, what people aren't understanding, though, is it's not about the picks. You just paid Aaron Rodgers all that money.
Right.
So if you take Khalil Mack, too, you can't afford Khalil Mack because then you're looking at 40% of your salary cap going to 2 players, whereas the Bears have a rookie quarterback who they're not paying dog shit. They're paying dog shit.
Right.
They can pay him.
They can.
And then by the time they have to either... move on and get another cheap quarterback, or they have to pay this Trubisky guy because he ends up being good. I don't think he's any good.
I don't think so either.
Then all of a sudden the cap has gone up X amount of dollars, and maybe they can figure out a way to pay him.
Right.
But in general, the Packers had no chance of getting him, in my opinion. They can say all they want about the Packers made a play for him, but that, you know, they paid fucking Rodgers the day before,
right?
And they gave him like he makes like 80 or 90 million by March of next year. He gets paid,
something like that,
yeah.
Whew. Which I was glad that you got that guaranteed money. You're a little scared that, you know, the player's not gonna put in their best effort, and he came back after halftime. I was like, all right, good.
He showed why they paid him that money.
Yes. Well, I mean, he's the most invaluable player in the league.
Insane.
So
I mean, that guy's up in New England, but
well,
that's a story for another day.
Right. Well, we don't need to get into that whole Skip Bayless debate.
Hey, Skip's right. Tom Brady's the best.
I tend to side with Shannon on this one. He is the most accomplished, but I think talent-wise, Aaron Rodgers is better.
Well, that's fine. You can have all the talent in the world.
Right.
But
well, Brady's in a better organization. Belichick is a better coach who does better things with his defense more often than not. Our defense has been garbage for years.
Tom Brady, I don't give a shit if he can throw off his back foot 60 yards. The guy gets the ball to his little scrapper receivers all over the field.
I'll never take anything
500 yards in a Super Bowl and loses.
I will never say that Tom Brady is not impressive. He is a very impressive quarterback.
He is very impressive.
Top 2 or 3 of all time, yes. I think, pretty obviously.
Top 1.
That's debatable. If we're talking about talent, but
if we're talking about talent, then Jamarcus Russell's up there. I mean, he's great. He can throw the ball really far. He can run around and throw the ball.
Isn't this a movie podcast?
Yeah, it is, but it's football season, you know? Expect me to bitch about the Lions weekly. Yeah.
Expect me to be the humble Packer fan because I'm not going to gloat.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't like that about Packers fans. We have a tendency to do that, and then in the postseason, it's the same thing every year.
Packer fans last night, like, hitting me up when my team is losing. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Why?
When you were down 20-0 at halftime, granted, I already said I've learned my lesson. I can't do this because I've seen it happen too many times. But no, I'm not going to bother you.
Right.
You know.
Well, the test of your true character is seeing how you act when you're a winner.
That's true.
And Packers win. Doesn't mean I need to make Lions fans feel any worse than they already do.
We know.
We have eyes.
Movies.
Let's get into movie news. So we were not fans of this, and apparently basically no one was. The Oscars have postponed their Best Popular Film category because of backlash.
Yeah, because it looks like bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've
postponed it.
Yeah, they haven't pulled it. I mean, they've pulled it for this year, but they want to tweak it. So
there goes your Oscar, Black Panther.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
it might get nominated. I don't think it deserves to get nominated for Best Picture.
No, it's really good, though.
It's a good movie.
Taking anything away from it.
No, it's a really good movie. There just have been better movies this year.
Yeah, it's true. It might sneak in there.
It might get a nomination. Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you got 10, there's always going to be a blockbuster, I feel like, in there, or a genre film of some kind. What do you think they should do? I'm starting to think they should make this not Best Popular Film, but maybe Best Achievement in Genre Film, which still gives you the problem of sort of like, the genre films, you're not real films, but it's a little less like popular versus good.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't think they would do this because they're just in love with themselves, but almost like, who's voting on this? Should we change who votes on this?
I think that's something.
That's where I think it should go.
Because there's a lot of actors who do actors and directors and producers vote on these things.
Right.
But which is why you see a lot of sort of acting driven films.
Yes.
Getting nominated for Best Picture. And I'm like, yeah, it's a good movie, but it's not like great.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting though. Genre would be good, but again, yeah, you're still going to feel like, okay, well, these movies like Black Panther, Hereditary, this kind of shit, you're still only getting nominated because they created some other category.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although last year a genre film like a fantasy sci-fi won Best Picture, so who the fuck knows, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. That's one of the best moments in Oscar history as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I didn't even think it was the best movie.
I didn't either.
But
but I'm glad.
Yeah, right. Well,
Del
that's
Toro
like
got it.
I was just thinking we were talking about Black Panther. Like, I don't think it deserves to be nominated, but wouldn't it be funny if it got nominated and won?
Right.
Like, let's just throw a fucking monkey wrench into the whole thing and fuck the whole thing up. You know?
Right. I mean, it's a good movie. I like sort of the themes in it.
Right.
It has a lot to say sort of about African American heritage and where you draw your identity from.
Well, and the whole concept of like, you know, they're kind of this independent country, and should they help others?
Right.
Should they reach? You know what I'm
it does
saying?
have a lot of like geopolitical statements
Right.
as well as sort of cultural identity questions, which I like. I think Infinity War is probably a better movie though, because it's got, well, entertainment value. I think it's better, but also I think it's, as far as like dealing with characters and giving
better.
like payoffs to character arcs that have been happening for close to a decade now. I mean, it's impressive.
Thanos alone
is very impressive. So, I mean, and it's got good themes too. So, but we're sort of on the Marvel train here. Going to suck their dick a little bit more. Marvel Studios.
You go ahead and do that, Alex.
Marvel Studios is now at $4 billion worldwide at the box office.
Well, I mean, those superhero movies are getting stale.
Yeah.
You know, it's time to go in a different direction at the box office. Yeah, everybody's so bored and sick of them.
Yeah. That's just insane, though. I mean,
That is insane.
I don't know if we're ever going to see I can't see a franchise other than Marvel currently getting $4 billion in a year.
I mean, if they do, they're going to have to play. I mean, it's years down the road, and it's going to have to be like this perfectly executed plan and rollout per Marvel Studios.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I think they could have, if they made good movies and did it intelligently. Like Star Wars was their best bet.
Yes,
but. Yeah, it wasn't.
With where the IP
way.
is right now,
no.
It's not going to happen for a while.
Certainly not.
And they have to do what Marvel has done, which is create pockets in your universe that feel different so that you can make different genre movies.
That's true.
With Star Wars.
Well, they had an idea at one point for doing like a Seven Samurai, but with like the Jedi.
Yeah.
Do something like that. You could do like a Star Wars horror movie. I mean, who the fuck knows? You could do whatever the fuck you wanted. You have no creativity at all with this shit.
Exactly. Star Wars, the only reason it feels limited is because of what they keep on choosing to do with the story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, you could have a crew crash lands on a planet and it's fucking monster. I mean, who the fuck? Who knows? You know,
like, I mean, and I'm not the biggest Boba Fett guy. Like, he's got a cool costume, and that's about it.
Yeah, I hate Boba Fett.
But I mean, like, he falls in the Sarlacc pit or whatever.
Sure.
Sarlacc. I forget
that's
which.
right.
Okay, and it's like, wouldn't it be cool if like you see him like survive that, like a movie, like almost like Dread, where it's an enclosed area and it's just him trying to survive
the belly of a Sarlacc.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's like a tunnel underneath that survivors had created, and it's him like trying to get out.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
I mean, you could do something like that.
You ever see Buried with Paul Walker?
No, I didn't.
Oh, or not Paul Walker. Who was it? It was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
okay. Good movie.
Okay.
The whole fucking movie is him in a coffin.
Okay.
It's awesome, I think. But there you go. Do something stupid like that.
Do something crazy.
Right.
You know, give me a Guardians tone. Just do different things. And then the other thing I noticed was there's no payoff to these movies because none of these characters intersect with each other, because we're doing all these different time period things. And it's like, the reason the Avengers works so much is like, ooh, I get to see these characters interact.
Interesting. That's a good point. Like, how would you make I suppose you could do separate stories not tied to the original trilogy, come up with something new, and then have your movie where they're right. Yeah, why not?
It requires a lot of creativity, a lot of planning, and there isn't a template for that really, even in like the Star Wars books necessarily.
Right.
Or comics.
Well, the Star Wars books, everybody was kind of just doing their own thing.
Right.
You know, somebody's got to come in and do this. So.
But speaking of Marvel, they might have a chance to do this next year, because you got Infinity War 2, you've got Spider-Man the sequel, and you've got the second big female superhero in Captain Marvel coming out.
Okay.
So if that performs even close to like the first Guardians or Black Panther, that's a far off hope. I don't expect that. But it could hit 800 million. You might get another 2 billion for Infinity War 2. And then you've got a Spider-Man movie, which is good for about 900 million, even if it's just,
so they could have 2 years around $4 billion.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I think we're going to be. I don't want to make a prediction quite yet, but
just make it. Guess a number. You got to get over the number.
I would say 3.7 is pretty safe.
There you go. Write it down, folks. 3.7 billion. I'm going to play The Price is Right.
Okay.
I'm going to say under 3.6 billion next year.
Okay.
Because they don't have Black Panther.
They don't have Black Panther. But I think, see, here's the thing. Ant-Man and Wasp is not a big name. So it only made 600 million. So you're going to get, well, I'm just saying, you're going to get both Captain Marvel and Spider-Man to do better than that. So whatever. We'll see. Yeah. But speaking of Marvel, we got our first look at Captain Marvel coming out next March, I believe, starring Brie Larson.
Yep. I saw the de-aged Samuel L. looks pretty good.
That looks pretty good.
I mean, it's a still image.
Yes.
But it looks like, like Pulp Fiction Samuel L. Jackson, which is hilarious.
Yep. Which I'm stoked to see that. We got to look at her costume. I'm not in love with it.
No, me neither. But I think that these things look worse until they're on the big screen. Like they know how to, fuck with the contrast and make things look shinier in post and look more,
Exactly. My only problem is that it's a little over designed. Well, I got a couple problems. It's a little over designed, and I'm tired of like this sort of like leathery sort of suit that we put superheroes in all the time.
Sure.
And she's kind of got that going on. It's like,
but they got to make her look hot.
Alex. It's like she's like wearing alien armor. Make it look more metal-y.
That's true. Yeah. But then you're going into like Man of Steel territory,
right?
Where it's
with
almost
Zod. Well, and that was the thing with Zod. Zod was over designed.
Right.
It was so intricate and ridiculous, and it was like, really, would you have all these like I don't understand. What's the purpose of that? And that's sort of where I get with costumes. Is like, what's the purpose?
They were kind of wearing like their armor and shit, like up on their planet of Krypton when nothing was really.
Yeah,
I thought Zod looked the best at the end when it was just like the black Superman suit.
Yep.
Right.
I totally agreed, which is the comic suit. So yeah, there's that. You got to look at good old buddy Ben Mendelsohn as a Skrull.
I saw the green Ben Mendelsohn, but he also like can shapeshift or something.
Yeah,
so we still do get corporate jackass Ben Mendelsohn in the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not in love with it. It looks like Star Trek, but in the movies.
Oh, we'll see.
I mean,
I like the Star Trek idea,
right?
Although it did kill Eric Bana's career.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I saw the concept art that they showed at Comic-Con like a year or so ago, and that was flat out amazing. And then to sort of see this this Star Trek for TV look is, I don't know. It's
maybe
okay.
That's what they're going for, though.
It could be super meta,
right? Yeah.
And if that's what they're going for, awesome. Like, it's going to be a fun time. But that kind of covers Captain Marvel. Did you see that Henry Cavill is now joining Netflix's The Witcher?
I did, and I've never played The Witcher or read The Witcher or anything with The Witcher, so I don't have an opinion on him. I just think it's nice to see. I think he had said something like, I would like to play that, and they cast him. So you got a fan playing him, which I think is neat.
Apparently, he's like a video game guy.
Right, yeah.
Which is like, you see a guy that size, you're like, no fucking way.
Well, I mean,
you don't have time for video games. You're working out.
Yeah, you're too busy injecting steroids.
Yeah. Right into the ass.
But no, that's kind of neat, though.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean,
hey, Dave Bautista, keep on going for that Gears of War role.
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
You could get it.
Yeah, why not?
I'm excited for this. I never, like you, have never read the books or played the games.
I hear they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard the third one is particularly good. But I like the look of the character. And I think it's like semi like Viking inspired. So.
Well, it's funny to see people already like, no. It's like they're not just gonna like put him on there in his current clothing with his current look. They'll make him look like whatever they need to look like for the story. So don't worry about the look of him.
I've seen a fan Photoshop and it looks pretty good. So
so if a fan can do it,
there's no reason to think. The only thing and this is based in my Marvel experience with Netflix, but I hope that Netflix doesn't go cheap on the budget. I hope it's a good-looking show.
Yeah, well, hey, at least we know Amazon's spending that money on Lord of the Rings show that's coming out. I heard
Oh,
it's
really?
Like 100 million or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Whew.
Yeah, something like 10 million an episode
Yeah,
or something.
so-
Yeah, it's going to be a good-looking show.
Yeah, it will be. Let's hope it's actually good.
Yeah, let's hope it's well written. We got a new Halloween trailer.
Oh, yeah, I got really jacked up when I saw this.
Yeah.
I try not to get too wrapped up in trailers, but like the first 30 seconds to a minute of this is just kind of the camera following him.
Yeah.
And he walks into someone's house, grabs a hammer off the table,
Yeah.
beats her,
Yep.
then walks away,
Yep.
grabs a knife, walking to the next place. And I was just like, oh, man, that's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
You know,
I love that they're doing this thing of they seem to be keeping the camera still, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of long takes.
it looks like a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
It looks like what a Halloween movie should look like.
Because you see him where he was, and then there's somebody that comes by and they're like, "Oh, something creepy." I
Right.
thought I saw something. No, oh, boom, he's behind you. You're fucked.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, okay, Jamie Lee Curtis is back, and we're making that a big deal.
Yes.
But I like the fact that they seem to, in these first two trailers, to know why people want to see this, and it's
Yeah.
Michael Myers. They got the guy who plays Michael Myers, who played Michael Myers in the original Halloween, to come back and play him again.
Right.
So, I mean, they're really going for the nostalgic, old school feel. His name's Nick Castle.
Is he related to the quarterback for the backup?
Oh,
The
man,
Lions?
no, that's Castle.
Oh, Cassell.
This
okay.
is Castle.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But no, it's funny because to me, like the only one that has truly been irreplaceable in this horror genre, slasher film, ridiculous villain thing is Robert Englund.
Right.
Because he got to play a character.
Absolutely.
But you talk to some people about like Jason, for instance, and they'll swear to you that like Kane Hodder had the look.
Right.
And when they replaced him, it was just wrong. So kind of neat that they went back and got the original Michael Myers.
There is a certain amount of something to be said about physical acting and capturing the character in that way. I do think it's, we're bringing up like it's the original actor. I'm like, oh, this guy's got to be in his 60s.
He's old.
Is a 60-year-old Michael Myers scary? I mean, apparently from the trailers he is.
You don't see him.
But
I mean, is a 60-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis a badass?
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Right.
Touche, my friend. We got another piece of news. Nobody likes sex offenders.
Yes, that's true.
That's I think a general statement. Well, Olivia Munn on shooting The Predator, without being told, had to shoot a scene with a registered sex offender, and Shane Black, the director, knew about it. He was friends with this guy, and he put him in the scene. And she just found out like a week or two ago.
And she got pissed.
Kind of went on a Twitter tirade about how this is unacceptable, and apparently she has been a victim of sexual assault in some way.
God, what was the story with her? I forgot. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like she has. And honestly, I kind of understand why she's pissed.
Yeah.
Not only because you put her in a situation, like maybe she wasn't in danger. Like probably not.
Right.
Right. But you put her in a situation where she's sharing a scene with this person.
Right.
And then somebody who sees it like ties them together like, oh, Olivia Munn's okay with this.
Right.
It's like one of those things where it sounds like he tried to sneakily do this. Like he didn't tell anybody. Maybe he just thought it wouldn't come up.
Yeah.
I don't, it's hard for me to be in the headspace of anyone involved in this.
Right.
But I can understand being pissed. And I mean, why don't you just talk to people about it? Like, okay, here's the story with this guy that I want to cast in the movie.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. Is everyone, he's paid his debt to society, if that's how you feel. What it sounds like he only got like 6 months in jail or something.
Yeah, he only got 6 months. He apparently was trying to solicit sex or hit on a 14-year-old family member.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And so it's like, we get into an interesting question of, there's so many questions in this. Is 6 months enough time to rehabilitate somebody like this? Is somebody like this, do we need to know in every situation. Like, do you know about coworkers that,
Right.
you know, and how far are we willing to go in forgiving and rehabilitating these people?
Well, that's just it. So like point by point, let's take the 6-month thing.
Right.
I mean, probably not. Neither of us are experts. We
Right.
don't know.
Right.
But was he supposed to ask for more time in jail? If he's,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then on the next point with the coworkers, like I've worked with someone who had that issue. I only knew because everybody knew.
Right.
And I got told, but the business didn't come to me and tell me.
Right.
And the business didn't tell the patrons of the business.
Wow.
When this guy was you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
okay.
I don't know how that works. I just put my head down and continued to work.
Right.
You know,
my question is, okay, so I guess my stance on, what was the first question I asked?
the first question you asked was the 6 months.
Okay, so I don't think that, I mean, and I'm not an expert,
Right.
but 6 months for doing something like that does not feel like a sufficient punishment to me. I understand that's a subjective thing, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it sounds fucked up, but it's one of those things though where it's like even if he got 2 years, you think Olivia Munn would have? Oh well,
Right.
he's statting for 2 years, then
Right.
it's fine,
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we don't know because it is one of those things where it's like it's a personal preference almost how much you think that person should be
Right.
punished. Some people think those people should never be
get
forgiven.
their balls chopped off,
Basically,
Yeah,
basically,
right.
and I'm like, I don't think I agree. So then the next question being, in work settings, what's the law on that? I mean, I feel like maybe we should know something like that. I mean, if this person is required to tell their neighbors,
So that's where you get into the fucked up thing though of like an 18-year-old sleeps with a 17-year-old, didn't
Right.
know she was 17,
Right.
and then they're branded with it for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't fucking know.
and that's a really tough thing because I mean, it also can be extended to just ex-cons in general. How long do we
Right.
just keep punishing people for a mistake? I don't know.
And here, neither of us know. But it's an interesting topic to talk about
Right,
anyway.
Right. Well, it's a little sad because I feel really bad for Olivia Munn to be put in that situation.
I feel bad for her. I don't know, like Shane Black, everything I've heard about him, he seems like an all right guy. Maybe he was just trying to like help out an old friend. I mean,
Right.
I don't fucking know, but
Right.
it sucks. I can understand why Olivia Munn's like, I don't want to be in a scene in a big budget fucking movie.
Yep.
It's not like I'm a great actress who's like seen a lot anyway. I don't want to be seen in this movie with this guy. I
Right.
get it.
And they removed the scene because of that.
Correct.
So, to Fox's credit, they did that. I just
watch it be like the scene that like
Saves
makes
the movie.
make sense. Yeah. Nothing makes sense because you're missing this exposition scene where it's like,
Right.
oh, that's why that predator's bigger than the rest of the predators.
God, wouldn't that just be the worst? Well, apparently in the scene he was hitting on her too, which is
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's a little,
Come on, Shane.
Yeah.
Come on, Shane. What are you doing?
I mean, that was bad because apparently he knew. Like all the details.
He probably he knows this guy. All we know about this guy, his entire life is encompassed in whatever he did, which we don't even know the details of.
Right.
So Shane Black must know him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But either way, dumb.
Yeah.
And Olivia Munn, I support you for
Yep.
whatever you want to get pissed about. I don't really.
Yep. Absolutely. Last thing, female related. I forgot to bring this up earlier.
In the Marvel talk, right?
Yeah, the Marvel. Yeah, Kevin Feige had a nice little quote about he's bringing more female heroes to the big screen, and he basically said, "I hope that it no longer becomes a novelty. It's just oh, this is another cool hero. What's their story? I'm interested to learn more. It shouldn't have to be about, ooh, it's a female hero,
Right.
and we need to lose that novelty." And he said, he went on to say, like, the fear of, like, in previous years about bringing female heroes to the movies because a couple movies didn't do well, 15 years ago. And it's like, no, he's saying basically, no, the reason they didn't do well wasn't because they were females, because they weren't particularly good movies.
Yeah, well, Wonder Woman kicked ass and it made a ton of money.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, you've got your Hunger Game movies and stuff. I mean, I feel like we're disproving that all the time, that people don't want to see a female hero.
People like quality stuff. Now,
Yes.
The Hunger Games is a little different because it's got like that young adult, like female-driven storyline that's
Absolutely.
more like I'm guessing the novels are read more by women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, we always had Alien too, though, and Aliens.
True.
And we
yeah,
had-
that's a good point. But
and we had Terminator 2.
The first Alien movie is a slasher movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the girl's always the one getting chased around by the fucking
Absolutely.
bad guy. So I don't know. But okay, so the Kevin Feige thing. I haven't seen what he said.
Okay.
You just kind of explained it to me. All right, here's where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say I don't really give a shit what gender the superhero is. Personally, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if the goal is to like bring women into the fold for more female viewers, whatever,
Right.
like if it's some sort of a, you know, I don't know what the play is. I don't think it'll work. I think that men generally like superheroes more than women, and it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man.
Right.
That's just how it is. It's like they've done those experiments with chimps where you have a female chimp and you have a male chimp, baby chimps. You give them certain types of toys, and even the chimps, like the male chimps gravitate towards like banging cars into each other and shit, and the female chimps gravitate towards like pretty, you know,
Right.
being, you know, a little cleaner and more creative and whatever.
Right.
So
Well,
I think
and
there's
it's-
just a natural thing where it's like, well, superheroes are dudes because more dudes want to be superheroes from the time they're like 4 years old.
That was the demographic that read the comics predominantly, which is why it took so long. I mean, society issues aside, which is why it took so long to get a black superhero.
Sure.
But it's sort of what you're saying is true, because they did the same thing with children, with human children,
Right.
where when they taught stories, boys reacted differently to certain stories than girls, and they reacted to different things in the stories. They liked different
Certain
things,
aspects of the stories.
and you're always
Okay.
going to have kids that fall somewhere on that spectrum. Not everybody's going to be far this way and far that way. Everybody's going to lay somewhere, and you might find a girl that is totally in love with superheroes,
Correct.
and that's cool.
Yeah.
I think what it is just, it's more of a representation thing, because you heard it with Wonder Woman and you heard it with Black Panther. You heard people say, like, I've never really seen what I identify with
to me,
represented in this
if
way
there
on
were
film.
real superheroes and like people going out to try to be superheroes, though, there wouldn't be equal representation, is my point. So you're just
Right.
engineering something that isn't. I mean, it sounds stupid for me to say it because we're talking about a fictional thing in the first place, but it's a dumb thing to try to make equal representation.
Well, I don't think you need equal, because I mean,
But you want to see more of it.
right. Well, I think it's just important to show people different role models that they're not used to seeing, because sometimes it takes, like Lieutenant Uhura. I've heard of female doctors who are like, oh, I never knew that a woman could work in this kind of setting. I didn't know that they, and it's one of those things where sometimes all it takes is a fictional character.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
That whole story. No, yeah, and you're right. I guess I understand that. But as a viewer of movies who's always liked superheroes, my favorite superhero movie of the last couple of years was Wonder Woman. So I just want to see good movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's true. It's cool to see a woman kick ass, but watch out and making it like a thing that you're going to go out and talk about that you're consciously doing is my only point. Because now you're going to get these fucking, you're going to get the jackass troll characters all over you on social media and shit. And I don't know. I just think that you just do it.
Well,
Just
I
do it.
don't think you can. I don't think you need to worry about making decisions based on what the jackass trolls are
No,
going to do,
you
because they're going to make your life a living
Right, but
hell.
you're making it a thing that you're saying, okay, we're engineering this now.
Well,
we're
but
doing
they-
this purposely.
But he's saying it shouldn't. He's saying it shouldn't even be a thing. He's saying, I would like it to be to the point where nobody is even concerned that it's a female. It's just another superhero.
Well, I mean, that's how I feel already. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but not everybody feels that way.
Right. So who's going to listen to that and go, oh, well, thank you. I wasn't thinking that way. and now I've listened to you speak.
Well, I mean, you don't know. The thing is that media affects us in really interesting ways. And sometimes it does. Somebody who could be obstinate or maybe bigoted in a way can see something and be like, I've never really thought about a person that way.
And I just thought of something too. I mean, somebody probably asked him a question, I guess.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't answer it,
right,
then, you know, oh, see, something's up.
Right.
So
because I think I feel like he answered it.
I don't fucking care.
Right.
Like, honestly.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I don't think he really cares. He just wants to, he's a producer. He just wants to make good movies that will make money.
Tell you what, he hasn't done so much wrong so far. So.
No, I mean, I think we didn't even mention it last year, but he's actually going to be, or last week, but he's going to be awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a Producers Guild.
Yeah, well, you think?
Yeah.
Like somebody might deserve that?
Right. I don't know if I have too much more to say on it. I think that he said it in a pretty diplomatic way. I know I didn't quote it, verbatim.
Whatever.
But, I mean, I feel like he could have gone a lot more PC on it than he did. And I feel like he gave it a pretty reasonable answer to that question, whatever the person asked. So
I hope Captain Marvel's good.
I do too. We got a Black Widow movie coming up also. Solo Black Widow movie.
It's funny because I don't know if I'm excited for that or not, but it's not because it's a woman. It's just because I'm not like that interested in the character.
It really depends on what they're going to do with her.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could do a prequel and that could be kind of interesting.
Like a spy Russian kind of.
Yeah. Think low budget Winter Soldier without the giant explosion battle at the end.
There you go.
I'd be cool. That'd be cool with that.
But yeah, I'll be interested in seeing what that makes.
Oh,
like money wise.
Oh, Black Widow or Captain Marvel?
Black Widow.
I think Black Widow's got a big enough fan base that she could probably do at least Ant-Man numbers now.
I suppose people like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Who's gonna call and like boycott because Scarlett Johansson isn't a real redhead or brunette, and she's playing one.
Oh God, she's not a real Russian. How could she? How could she do this?
Yeah, right.
And we're just getting...
And then this week, last bit I'll talk. I mean, I had sent this to you where they're giving Idris Elba shit,
right?
Because he said he thinks that a straight man can play a gay character.
Yeah.
But then he said, "Oh, but a white guy can't play a black guy," and everybody's on his ass like that's hypocritical. And I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're gonna like blackface a white guy,
yeah,
then whatever. But if a straight guy, like you can't see gay on screen the second a gay person on screen. You don't know that the actor is gay immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
so people need to chill the fuck out.
I do. I have a serious problem with this because it's the far left going fucking nuts, and I'm a left-leaning person, and this kind of shit pisses me the fuck off because you erase any potential for a real meaningful debate about representation in film.
Right.
By doing something like this, because it's very clearly not the same thing.
It's so dumb. Yeah, it's so cartoonish.
Yeah.
Like both ends of the spectrum, like of politics, it's like the far right and the far left. They end up looking like fucking cartoon character morons.
Yes.
It's just, I don't know. But we don't have to even talk about that much. I just thought it was funny.
And we always, I think we try to maybe not get into politics.
Right.
But we do. And there's something to be said about, personally, I just want to get on my little soapbox here for a second. I hate how everything is politicized now. Like this whole like female movie thing. Right. It's like, I hate that there are people that are pissed about it. I hate that there are people who are like, more female. I hate all of it. And as far as like, you're saying the far right and the far left are just going fucking nuts and it's cartoonish. I hate the fact that this is the problem with the two-party system, is that it pushes people further and further into their camps because there's nobody in the middle. I feel like we need a four-party system is what we need. We need the moderate left and we need the moderate right. And Republicans and Democrats, you guys can keep the far ends of the spectrum. We need people who are sane in the middle.
Yeah, we have those, but they don't get the... They don't.
Right. But I mean, you can't do a third party system because inevitably that party is going to lean towards one end more than the other. And that's just going to create an imbalance where one party is just going to always get their side.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah. So fuck politics. All you fucking politicians.
Don't vote.
Don't just become disengaged like everybody else in America. But yeah, do you want to get into the reviews now?
Yeah. I'll talk about shit I watched this week.
Shit we watched.
So I finished that Sharp Objects on HBO.
All right.
Highly recommend. Now I'm to must watch show.
Okay.
I kind of started. It was a little slow. It kind of dragged me in. It got more interesting. Last couple episodes, home run.
Really?
Yes. So yeah, and I don't want to talk about it because there's twists and turns, but yes, highly recommended. Very good.
How many episodes is this?
8.
Oh, that's perfect because then it just feels like a long movie because you can keep the pacing.
It does, and it's funny because the girlfriend had read the book. So I said to her, because she knew the twists and turns the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sitting there, and then it ended, and I looked at her, and it's one of those where it's like, okay, well, this could be the end. This could just be a limited series where it just ends here.
Right.
I'd be fine with that. But it could not be, too. It's not like one of those clear-cut endings. There's nowhere else to go here. Right. So I asked her, like, is that it? She's like, yeah, that's how the book ended. So
that's awesome.
So I don't know where they're going to go with it. I feel like they might do another season because fuck it.
I love limited series because it means that you're not trying to stretch your premise beyond its means.
That's true, but we'll see. Now we'll see because I would be incredibly intrigued to see where all these characters wind up.
So long as you can get a good writer on the project.
There you go. Well, I think Gillian Flynn, who wrote, Gone Girl, that kind of shit, I think she helped write this. So
okay.
I mean, I don't think they'd have to have her blessing. Now, is she trying to get some more cash? I mean, I'm not saying that anything she's involved in is going to be good.
Right.
I would argue that the Harry Potter spinoff is a good example of that, where what's her name was involved, but I don't think it's that great.
I thought it was a shit movie.
Yeah, well,
Fantastic
you
Beasts.
You probably hated it more than I did, but I didn't think it was good.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find More Money.
Yes, and we're going to find more money in a couple months.
Yeah. Well, this is more of what they should have done with a prequel. Give us the origin of Dumbledore. Give us the origin of wizard Nazis.
Yeah, nobody cares about this Scamander or whatever.
Yeah,
his
fuck
name
him.
Is. Yeah.
Fuck him.
But yeah, I watched that. I've watched 5 episodes of Ozark on Netflix.
Okay, I've heard that is a great show.
It's fucking awesome, dude. And there's a couple plot lines in this latest season that are kind of annoying me.
Okay.
Like there's one involving this Ruby character and her dad, where it's like, okay, the dad gets out of prison. He's an asshole. She has to deal with him. And it's just, you're just like, I get out of my way.
Right.
Like, shoo, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah,
but other than that, Jason Bateman plays basically, straight man Jason Bateman like he always does, only he's not hilarious or trying to be funny.
Okay, nice.
Laura Linney, who is an actress I can't stand. I just look at her and I just don't like her. I never have. She was the wife in the Truman Show.
Oh, okay.
She's been in a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't like her.
I was going to say, you see her in that role, it's hard to...
But in this, I'll be shocked if she's not nominated for, Emmys or whatever, because she's fucking amazing.
Really?
This.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think if there's anybody else, but yeah, it's just a really good show. I'll be, giving my overall review thus far this season. It's A- territory.
Wow.
It's good.
Good.
And yeah, and then I watched The Hunt for Red October because we talked about it last week. It's fucking great.
Okay.
Very character driven. I had forgotten how good the whole cast is.
Is that the first Jack Ryan movie?
That's the first one. So that one's got James Earl Jones as I forget the character's name. He's Jack Ryan's chief boss, whatever character.
Right.
Alec Baldwin's Jack Ryan. You've got Skarsgård, Stellan Skarsgård is in it as one Russian,
love that guy.
Russian. He's a pilot of a sub or captain of a sub, and then the one sub has Tim Curry, Sam Neill, and Sean Connery on it.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Okay,
dude.
I have to see this movie.
And
that's a stacked
the whole
fucking
thing
cast.
Is the sets of the submarine and shit are all awesome. There's some bad effects in it. Like there's
Right.
one scene towards the end where they're on a boat, a couple characters, and it's like clearly it's like the old school style background blue screen shit
right.
where it's
Gotcha.
like blatantly obvious. But yeah, bunch of good performances in it. Just a great fucking movie. It really is good.
Right.
And yeah, I mean James Earl Jones rules.
Yeah.
There's a few other actors that pop up in it too.
James Earl Jones is America's grandpa.
Yeah, he's just great.
Yeah.
And Courtney B. Vance is in it. He's a good actor. But yeah, I would highly recommend if anybody has not seen that. Basically, the plot is Sean Connery has been asked by the Russians to captain this giant sub named the Red October. It has a new propulsion system where it can't be, located via sonar, or at least not easily.
Okay.
And he goes rogue. He goes rogue, and Jack Ryan thinks that he is defecting from Russia and trying to come to the United States for asylum.
Okay.
And everybody else thinks he's coming to fire missiles at the United States.
Right.
And it's good.
Would you say it was a rogue nation kind of stance
rogue
to take?
Nation. Yeah. Yeah, it's very rogue movie.
You think they might try and tie it with the Mission Impossible? Maybe he's Ethan Hunt's
it
dad.
would make a good Mission Impossible movie. Like if they wanted to tone it down because there's not much action in it. It's very character driven.
Hey,
but it says a lot about this is an old movie. I hadn't seen it in years. There's not much for action in it, but there's ways to build tension without action. And this movie does it just fantastically.
Okay, Hollywood, you want to know how you guys can find some superhero success, like box office wise? I'm going to give you a little tip, and Jackson, you can tell me if you have any interest in seeing this whatsoever. You take Ethan Hunt, you take Jack Ryan. Let's just take John Krasinski.
Okay, yeah.
You take
is it Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. You take Liam Neeson.
Sure.
And Denzel Washington.
Okay.
That's your action Avengers movie.
What about like Daniel Craig? Is he in for a cameo at any point? Like
James
Bond?
Let's save that for the sequel. Okay. I mean, these things got to keep expanding.
So it's action. So it's like an Expendables, but it's not new characters. It's like all characters
because you could see them all existing in the same world.
Well, you just described like in the CW series of this, John Krasinski would be like the girl who runs the computer.
That's fine. That's fine.
You could there you go. Sounds good to me. I'd see it.
Yeah, I'd watch the shit out of that movie.
I'd see it. Yeah, I still haven't seen those damn Denzel action movies.
Equalizers?
No, I haven't seen either one of them still.
Let's try and watch those for next week. We never
At least
watched
the first one.
In the segment shit we watched. We literally never watched the same
true.
shit.
Yeah, let's watch the same thing. But no, I would highly recommend. I just got them actually. I'll loan it to you. I'll loan you The Hunt for Red October. It's
awesome.
Fucking great. Dude.
Awesome.
And I know you're a Sam Neill guy.
I am. Sam Neill is the
good in
fucking
this.
man. Dude, I heard that cast. I'm like, all right, I don't know how I haven't seen this movie.
It's
fucking like 12-year-old
It's one of those
me.
movies you're watching an old movie. You're like, holy fuck! Like everyone in this is good.
12-year-old me made a bad call in dismissing these movies.
But
I
yeah,
guess,
all right. Anything else that I watched?
The Lions.
Oh God! Yeah,
Sorry.
they were the worst. They were the worst thing I saw this week.
I would imagine
Yes,
so.
but yeah, no. What did you watch? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I watched two things. We're going to get into a continuation of Transformers 5 The Last Night. That's going to be part 3 in this series.
And the end, hopefully.
The end.
Because I got to tell you, it's almost as bad listening to it being spoken about as it is watching it.
Yeah, I went
Our
a little
ratings
long.
for the show have gone down considerably since we began speaking about the Transformers.
The people have spoken. The people have spoken. But I'm going to go into something else real quick before we get into that.
All right.
Lovely nugget. You know what I wish had happened at the end of Infinity War? I wish that we had seen, and spoilers for Infinity War if you haven't seen it, I wish we had seen all the Netflix characters just disappear.
There you go.
Danny Rand being the first one.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question right off the bat here. Where in the timeline does this one take place? Has the thing happened, or have they just forgotten that these characters are even part of the Marvel MCU bullshit?
We don't know. And that would have been a great way to end this season. It would have been just, oh, they all disappeared. And hey, Marvel TV, that's your out. You've got the biggest out ever in killing off these characters. They disappear. We just never see them again.
Okay.
It's fine.
So I'm assuming you powered through this entire thing.
I watched all of season 2 of Iron Fist.
Okay.
It's 10 episodes long, so it's less pain.
Okay, it should be around 7 or 8, but that's what they should be moving towards.
Absolutely. Fully agree. Because what I said about Runaways, decompressed storytelling, that's exactly what this is. Everything's a fucking moment. And it goes back to what I said about business with characters. What are they doing? Are they putting away their groceries? Are they fiddling with their keys? What do they do in nervous situations? What do they do in happy situations? But no, this is just, let's sit around. I'll sit on a couch and you can stand and cross your arms and we'll just talk to each other in reverse shot format for 10 minutes. That's damn near every episode. Now, here's the thing. This is an improvement on last season. But when you've got an F student, almost everything is an improvement.
Okay.
The fight scenes, the fight choreography is better, like by a mile. They got the fight choreographer for Black Panther. He also has done other things, but he did this season. It's vastly superior. It's still, there are good fight scenes, don't get me wrong, but there are also some shoddy ones where I don't think the actors were quite up to snuff with the choreography that they were being asked to do.
Sure.
There were some moments where like you could tell somebody was waiting for the kick. You know, somebody's kind of looking a little too long and the pacing's off a little bit. The characters are as bland and boring as ever. Danny Rand, that actor, man, I don't even know his name. It's not worth remembering. And I'm sorry, like, if he ever heard this, like, I'm sorry for being a dick. It's just like, your acting is just not good.
He's terrible. He's the worst. He's the worst of all the performers that have been on those shows.
By a long shot.
Yeah.
Like, all he does is furrow his brow, and that's his thing for every situation other than when he's supposed to be happy and smiling. But concern, anger, sadness, everything is just, look at, I'm upset. That's it. And his pacing, like, he has no like different rhythms for when he's upset or what, like everything comes out in sort of like the same cadence, which makes sense for a character. You know, a character's going to talk the same, but in different situations, like right now, I'm getting excited, so I'm talking louder and I'm talking faster, but you know, I'm moving my hands more. Like those are things that characters do in different situations, but he talks the same all the time, and it's fucking awful.
Yeah, he sucks.
Going back to the fight scenes real quick. You remember that bit at the end of Black Panther where he throws the knife up in the air and then he has to catch it and he stabs Killmonger?
I mean, no, but
well, it's one of those things where like they do
a neat little,
they do the exact same move in this.
Okay.
Between Iron Fist and Davos. I don't know if you remember Davos from the previous season. He was the one who grew up in Kunlun.
Got it. Yep, I do.
Okay.
God, that's sad that I remember that.
Yeah, the basic plot of this one is that Matt Murdock died in the Defenders, or at least as far as people know, he died. And Danny Rand is trying to take up the mantle. He's not being Daredevil, but he's trying to protect the city. And in doing so, he's kind of wearing himself thin. It's everything that you've seen before on these shows. Oh, I'm a superhero. I'm misunderstood. Fuck this show. It moved from an F to a D. It's not a good show. It's just not good.
Are you even hopeful for Daredevil season 3 at this point, or do you think it's just going to be another pile of shit?
I don't know. I want to be, because I really like Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock in Daredevil.
Yeah, I actually like the ensemble cast in Daredevil for the most part. Is Fisk still alive?
Yes, he's in jail.
Okay.
And I think this one is going to see him get at season 3. I think he gets out.
Good. Good, because guess what? He's still my favorite thing about any of these shows.
Right.
Is still Kingpin. He's fucking awesome.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Daredevil is a cut above the rest. I mean, it's not even close.
Yes.
I just want to give a couple of spoilers. So spoilers in case you actually give a shit, which you really shouldn't. But so Danny Rand gets the Iron Fist taken away from him in a we're gonna steal your powers scene, and then Davos gets it, but his are red. and then he goes around, he starts killing the gang members, the triads.
Okay.
Which is just so standard, bad guy thing. I'm going to steal the power because you're not doing the right thing with it, but I'm extreme. Oh, but the power corrupts me thing. Fuck this. It's just bad. But then eventually they're like, oh, we're going to steal it back. We're going to steal it back. And they steal it back and they give it to your favorite character, the karate teacher.
Oh, really? She gets the power.
She's the Iron Fist. She's got white fists, though.
See, at least that sounds kind of fun, though.
Yeah, the thing is like, I'm like, okay, except for, like, this whole season, they basically realized they fucked up Danny Rand as a character. They made him unlikable. And so this whole season is sort of basically like, well, let's take all those, like, impetulant child, anger issues, stupidity that Danny handed, and let's make those his character arc. And I'm like, no, you should have just gone for a hard reboot. He's different now. That's it.
Yeah, you don't need to explain everything.
Yeah. But like I said, it's decompressed storytelling. Oh, well, there's a chance for an arc here. Let's just do it. No. You remember how Thor just became silly in Ragnarok and it fucking was awesome?
And he's better, yeah.
Just do that. But they didn't do that. And they didn't really explain. They kind of tried to explain why Colleen gets the fist, but it's kind of half-hearted explanation. Danny goes off and he...
disappears for 6 episodes.
No, they do a time jump. It's the last episode. It's a time jump. It's 6 months later, and he's investigating like where the dead corpse, because they needed a dead corpse of a previous Iron Fist to take the power away from him. So he's investigating who sent that to Davos. And at the end, he's got the Iron Fist back, but we also see that Colleen has the Iron Fist as well. So you're like, okay, so I don't understand why you didn't have it before, but he's got it in both fists now. And he uses it to shoot guns, and through the Iron Fist, he can control the bullet that he fires from both guns to stop a bullet that's being shot at him. Kind of, I mean, it looked really cheesy, but it's kind of, it's okay. I mean, you guys are trying new things, whatever. I think the new season could be cooler because he's no longer in New York doing the whole, I'm running a business and being a street savior. I'm so tired of this whole, like, everything's run down in New York. Fucking everything takes place in warehouses with
everything's
fucking
Gotham
pallets.
City with,
Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage. Every set is lame. Everything is awful. If I'm gonna
everything is awful.
Yes, you fucking got it. You got the reference. Everything is awful. That's what this fucking show is. Oh God, I hated it so much because I've read some Iron Fist comics and they're fucking cool, man. Like, it's just kung fu, but like in the most like ridiculous, over the top way, super fun, but also super violent.
Well, I've heard Luke Cage is great too.
Yeah, like they're actually just good comics. You guys are just fucking them with your low budgets and your shitty storytelling.
Well, and it's funny. I still have 2 episodes to watch of Luke Cage. That's how bad it is. Where I'm like forgetting that it even exists.
Yeah.
But Luke Cage, I like that actor.
Yeah.
This Iron Fist, I watched the first season. It took it to the next level because I hated the actor. I mean, I didn't like the character at all. Whereas with Luke Cage, at least I like the character, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the actor imbues it with a lot of charisma. This guy has no charisma.
None. Oh, yeah. When he showed up in this recent episode I watched, Luke Cage, when Danny Rand showed up, it was just deflated me as a viewer.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking, I know I don't want him here.
Right.
Get him out of here.
And a lot of it is the acting because he's such a bad actor, but a lot of it is the writing too, of making him just this impetulant child.
He stinks.
But I hate it because I like Danny Rand as a character in the comics. Like, he's actually a kind of a cool character. He's a little bit more... He actually reminds me almost like of a cross between Daredevil and Spider-Man. He's a little bit more fun-loving, but he can be dark at times. But more often than not, he's like, let's use our chi, man. Let's just fucking chill out, bro. Okay.
Well, no, they had to make him... The Marvel series on Netflix are all dark and gritty.
We're all misunderstood down here. Yeah, fuck it. It's fucking garbage.
But yeah, Transformers.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, a little segue to this. We will have a special episode coming up at some point here because we're going to go see the animated 1985, I believe it is, Transformers film in the theater in a couple weeks. Yep, in a couple weeks here. So
you got the power.
Watch out for that.
Yeah. God, I love it. It's going to be awesome. All right. So I'm going to start my review. So Hopkins has to go to like a library to get some information or whatever. Bullshit. Then he has the most conspicuous car for his getaway. That French robot or whatever.
Yeah.
Is like the most extravagant sports car ever.
Of course he does.
It's ridiculous.
Michael Bay movie.
It's just like drawing attention to yourself rather than being
shot,
smart.
I'm sure, I don't remember, but I'm sure it's shot from like that low angle, like by the front tire shot with the hood. Yeah.
Yep. And then everybody's in a car chase. You almost don't even know what the fuck's going on. Continuing with my TPS report, people, they're chasing them through London.
I remember being utterly fucking dumbfounded and lost during most of this movie.
But they're just screaming at each other, like Mark Wahlberg and the girl are just screaming at each other. Nobody's likable and nobody's yelling anything funny. So it's just like, cut all of this. All you're doing is annoying me. So they get onto a submarine, which is like an old Transformer.
Okay, I remember that.
But they don't seem to have like any sense as to how to end scenes, because like the psycho butler points a gun at Mark Wahlberg's head because they're getting at each other's throats, and then they just cut, and it's never dealt with. That's one of my pet peeves, though, is when like you cut a scene right when something interesting is happening, and then we come back like 20 minutes later and it's not addressed. I hate when TV does it. I hate when movies do it. At one point, Mark Wahlberg asks while they're in the submarine and it's diving, he goes, "Is that water?" Really?
I don't remember that.
You're on a fucking sub and you asked if that's water.
Hey, you got better make sure it's water.
Yeah, fucking hell. I mean, what do you think it is? Semen? Jesus Christ. Like, this is This is... You remember Transformers 2 came out, and that was during the writer's strike.
It was bad, yeah.
It had no writers on it because it was during the writer's strike. This has writers on it.
It's worse than 2.
It's worse than 2.
Yes.
How the fuck did they manage that? Okay, so the Cogsman, while they're on the sub, he sets up a dinner for them while Girl and Mark Wahlberg are all smoochy. We like each other. He sets it up in like 5 seconds, and neither of them hear him. And you don't even know he's there in the scene. And then all of a sudden he's got like this extravagant dinner. So that just didn't make sense to me at all. Because they're like, "Oh, Cogsman, where did you come from?" You didn't hear him putting plates down and like silverware and like wine on a fucking... What?
He's Cogsman.
Yeah, he's just like a fucking ninja, I guess. They enter a ship and I'm just... Bear with me. It's just a list of things that make no sense in the movie. So Mark Wahlberg, when they get into the underwater ship that the submarine takes them to, which is like an ancient Transformers thingy, doesn't really fucking matter. He's got a gun. Mark Wahlberg has a gun for like no fucking reason. I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from because he didn't have it when they entered the sub. And I'm pretty sure there aren't guns on the sub because it's like an old World War II sub. So he just has a gun. There's no sense of how to make a funny line. Because she's like, "Cade, I think you're really brave, Cade." And then he's like, "Okay." And she's like, "Well, it would be nice if you could return the favor." He's like, "Okay, I don't know what to say." She's like, "Well, I was the first person off the sub." And then they just cut. But I think you're supposed to laugh there.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a bunch of laughs in this.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg, he's a wacky guy. He's awesome. He yells a lot.
I still don't know what the staff does at this point in the movie.
I don't know what the staff does, and I saw it.
Yeah. And then Megatron comes out of nowhere, even though he hasn't been in the movie for like the last hour. It makes no sense. I'm like, how did you know where to go?
He's Megatron.
He's Megatron. He just knows all.
He just knows all, right.
Anthony Hopkins, there's an explosion behind him, and it's the most obvious stunt double as he's falling away from it because they decide to shoot it from the front. Now, granted, it's a wide shot, but
certainly not Anthony Hopkins.
Not Anthony Hopkins. It's a man in his 40s at the latest. Oh, and then the girl shows up. The girl that was earlier on in the movie. The I Fight Like a Girl from the trailers girl.
The girl from Sicario 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dora the Explorer?
Is she going to be that?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, they better get going on
Add
that movie.
movie news to this segment.
But are they seriously? She's running and they got cleavage and she's wearing short. Like, are we really?
I don't remember them. See, I don't remember them sexualizing her.
She had cleavage while she was running. It just seemed like, are we really going to sexualize like a 14-year-old?
I can't speak to this because I didn't notice this.
No, I'm gonna give
because I actually gave Michael Bay some credit on this movie that he was less. He
definitely sexualized less.
Right.
But then there was that one shot, and I was like, really? You were doing so good, Michael.
Well, maybe it wasn't purposeful.
Maybe
cleavage.
It wasn't.
Right.
But I don't know. The second you see
he deserves the benefit of the doubt, doesn't he?
He definitely does not. I don't understand why Earth needs to die so that Cybertron can live, because then they get the staff to, like, because Cybertron is coming to Earth.
Wait a minute, isn't that the third one? When Cybertron comes to Earth?
Did it come to Earth?
In the third one, they were like using the multiple staffs to like bring the Cybertron next to Earth.
Are you telling me that they're repeating themselves now?
Yeah.
Jesus
I guess.
Christ. I didn't even know that. That's a nitpick I didn't even know to have.
Yeah, because in the third one, like, what's his name? The other Prime guy, Leonard Nimoy.
Right.
He's all, got the staffs all set up and in Chicago or whatever, and the fucking, what's it called? It's coming back to Earth, and they're going to enslave the humans to rebuild Cybertron.
Right.
But
I just...
So in this one, though, aren't they like turning the Earth into Cybertron?
They are... Okay, so Buster explains it.
Okay.
He says that they're taking like the thermal energy from Earth and using it to reform Cybertron or something. I guess that's what the staff does. We finally find out what the staff does.
Kind of.
Yeah. But then the question is why does it need to be Earth? Because they're saying it's thermal energy. Doesn't it just, couldn't it just be any other planet?
Nah, because doesn't Earth have... Well, Earth has the staff, first of all, right?
Yeah, but couldn't they just FedEx it to fucking Cybertron and be like, here you go, here's your staff, go and fucking attack Mars?
I suppose that's true. You could go, yeah.
So
I don't know.
So it's just this contrived bullshit.
Just go to the sun.
Yeah. I love this. Cade Yeager texts his daughter while he's in the plane as they're going up to the Cybertron.
That. Oh, yeah, he has a daughter.
Yes. Well, that was in the last movie. I remember that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because she was sexualized.
Yeah, well, and actually, I didn't mind. She's 18.
She was 17.
Oh, whatever. She looked pretty good.
They had the whole scene of the Romeo and Juliet.
Well, the character
clause.
was 17, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah.
at least I don't think the actress was.
Probably not.
She was a good-looking girl in Bates Motel.
Oh, okay.
I remember her. I had a slight crush on her, an inappropriately slight crush on her in Bates Motel.
But while he's on the plane, he texts his daughter from one of the military guys' phones, and it says, "Look up in the sky. I'm there for you." That's a number she doesn't know. Context is important here. That could be really creepy. How would she know that's her dad? Those are the only two texts he sent.
Well, because maybe she just knows her dad that well.
Maybe. Or it could be like a creeper. Or it could be the planet that's coming to Earth that's texting her. "I'm there for you, girl." Ugh.
It's just dumb because you were like, oh yeah, well, he has a daughter, and you're like, don't pretend that you still care about that whole plot line because that's done. You didn't bring the daughter back. She's not a part of this story. Just shut up and stop trying to give me some sort of an emotional attachment to something when it's clearly not there and nobody gives a shit.
And then at the end, like, they keep cutting back to the humans, even though Optimus is there and he's teamed up with them. But he gets like a cool 30-second bit where he cuts off all of like the bad guys' heads in that slow motion shot
with the sword or whatever. Yeah.
But they just keep on cutting back to the military dudes. I'm like, nobody cares about them.
It's true. Nobody cares.
Stop it. I'm getting like frustrated with this movie. He shows up and it's your favorite bit. They're like, I'm here to get the staff. Get out of here. And then the military dudes, I'm going back, and like they shoot at him, and then he goes, "Who did that?" And he turns around, but then he doesn't try and attack anybody. He just walks out.
He's not going to attack anybody.
It just doesn't make any sense. There's a big explosion on his shoulder, and he's like, "Who did that?" And then he leaves.
Yeah, well, that's how he does it. He's the best.
It's just like they recorded the audio, and they're like, "Well, I guess we have to use this."
Right.
No, you could have just had the explosion and had him walk out. Could have been fine.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, the more you hear that voice, the better.
Yeah, I think that was the logic.
It is true.
It's like, well, it's sort of, does it save the, no, it doesn't save the moment. Sorry. But then he's evil and he's like, "I'm going to kill you all." Oh, Bumblebee, your voice, I haven't heard it since
Drives
Cybertron.
me nuts. No, you heard it. You fucking have Alzheimer's. You heard it like 2-3 movies ago.
Wouldn't that be great? A Transformers movies where Optimus has Alzheimer's.
Well, that's what he should have said. If Bumblebee would have been like, "Actually, sir," and then he just gets cut off. "Oh, the humans have welcomed us back." You know.
Yeah, he's evil for 30 seconds, and that fight scene goes on.
Terrible. You should have had a good fight scene.
Yeah.
With Bumblebee versus Optimus.
Yeah.
You know. And Optimus wins, since if you had Bumblebee win,
Right.
I'd tell you to go fuck yourself.
Right.
Optimus wins, but then like Cade Yeager shows up and says something nice to Optimus, and Optimus like snaps out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
You should have had Optimus actually be brainwashed Scientology style instead of having a button pressed on him.
Right.
Like the whole thing's fucking terrible. It's so bad.
And then the Knights show up after he's been saved from the button pushing.
Right.
And they're like, "You've betrayed us all. She's a liar." And they're like, "We're going to kill you now." I was like, "Oh, I'm glad that they have an elevated society where it's just you make a mistake and it's death."
Hold on. So they were saying that to Optimus?
Yeah, they're like, "You betrayed."
You're using an Optimus voice with all these characters.
They're all Optimus.
No,
They're just bigger, older versions of Optimus.
But they don't have his amazing voice.
No, they just have different deep voices.
Some of them have like the hey, Megatron. Like
Well,
that kind of voice.
I'm talking about the Knights though. All the Knights are like, "Way down here. We're old. We're old and grizzled."
But yeah, they show up, and then what's his name? Fuckface grabs the sword, if I remember correctly.
Well, the coin or whatever goes to his hand and becomes a sword, and he can stop the momentum of a fucking transformer because magic sword. And I know. This
like
is a
the
movie.
Sword in the Stone.
This
type
movie
deal.
is a fucking and this movie is about giant robots, and you're gonna be like, "Well, Alex, if you're gonna pick that apart, you pick." But
they can't cut through the sword, man.
Here's
Here's
the fucking thing. There's the thing called force.
No, not when this is involved.
No,
See, you gotta stop. Here's where you get ridiculous, Alex.
I hate it so much because basically what they're trying to like, there's no explanation for it. It's just the sword is magic and it can stop anything.
Yeah, that's the point.
He's
the only one that can wield it, and it's magic.
Oh, it's garbage. And then he never uses it again.
Well, that's all he needed it for. Stop it. I don't want to defend this movie.
Couldn't he fucking use it on Megatron or anyone?
No, because Megatron is not one of the Knights. Like, Megatron is not.
So you're
bound
telling me
to
it
the
only
sword.
works on the Knights? That makes even less sense.
I'm guessing.
Fuck this goddamn movie. This movie is so fucking bad. And then they have the audacity at the end to have that girl, the evil Galadriel, robot Galadriel.
Oh yeah, they tried to set up a sequel, didn't they?
Fuck off movie. They didn't even do it like as a post-credits scene.
No, they did it like it's setting up a sequel.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's so...
Get ready for the next Transformers. It was terrible.
The next Transformers.
Now, can you remind me, what was his speech in this one? Because they all end with him, out there in the universe, the Autobots.
We'll rebuild. Together we're united. I don't remember, in all honesty.
Says something like, we're here.
We'll stand with the humans.
I am Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it's like it is like he has Alzheimer's. He needs to remind himself who he is all the time.
Yeah.
Every movie, I am Optimus Prime.
Yeah, well, I mean, he sounds cool when he says it, so that's the only reason it's there.
Who did that?
I will kill you.
I'll kill you all, humans. That was the fourth one. He just wakes up, humans.
He does. He has got Alzheimer's. He's losing it. But
that's a way more interesting movie, but that's my shit that I watched. Garbage movie, one of the worst I've seen of all time. It's like right up there with
all time.
Yeah, it's up there with
not
like
worse than The Nun.
Okay, okay.
It might be messier and more ridiculous than The Nun, but The Nun is fucking terrible.
The Nun is bad.
Oh,
the Nun is really bad. This is worse, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm not going to fight you on it.
Because The Nun made me roll my eyes a lot.
No, let's wait. That's the finale of the episode, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want to? Oh, that's right. You saw. Let's go into the theater viewing. You saw 3 fucking movies.
I did. I saw 3 movies.
It's gonna be a long episode.
So no, I'll go through them pretty quick. Operation Finale.
Okay.
It's good. It's got Oscar Isaac. He plays like an Israeli intelligence officer, soldier dude. And then there's Ben Kingsley as Adolf Eichmann.
Mm-hmm.
He was the architect of the Holocaust. And basically, after the war, he snuck out of there and went to Argentina.
Right.
And this Israeli group finds out he's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of neat how they realize he's there. The daughter of a Jewish guy who had fled to Argentina, basically his daughter starts dating or brings over to his house this Adolf Eichmann guy's son.
Okay.
So word gets back, like, we think this is him.
Right.
So they, plan like a whole thing where they're going to go get him and they're going to extradite him secretly to Israel to face trial.
Right.
And yeah, that's the movie. It's like the operation to get him out of there and send him back to Israel.
Right.
What ends up happening, of course, they show up, they're there, and I don't know how much of this was fictionalized, but they capture him and they can't get out. So they have him held up in this like Argentinian neighborhood in this house.
Okay.
And Oscar Isaac and Ben Kingsley end up like getting to know each other a bit.
Oh boy.
And it's good.
Is
man.
Oscar Isaac so he's Israeli, so he's actually Jewish?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's getting to know this fucking monster.
Ooh.
But I mean, the guy is charismatic,
as they are,
and Ben Kingsley is fucking great at playing the part, obvious as always.
Yep.
And it's funny because Ben Kingsley's whole thing is like, I had a job to do, like, obviously nobody would give a shit, but
you didn't have to be so good at it.
Right? Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's. He somebody else is trying to, they have to get him to sign this this document, basically like agreeing to be tried in Israel.
Right.
And he won't sign it. And they're trying by brute force to get him to sign this thing. Yeah. Whereas what's his name, Oscar Isaac, is trying to like be diplomatic and get to know him a bit, and basically saying like, look, why don't you just treat people the way you're treating me, explain it as you're explaining it to me, and like let the world judge what you did. And he's just like, no, I should be tried in German courts, whatever. But it's interesting as fuck because it's good. 2 great performances in it.
I got one of those things where I'm like, it's like, fuck you and your fucking consent of what you want. You're a monster. That, but I understand there's
where did he commit the crime is the
right
point. Yeah.
Well, and there's laws. I
right.
get it, but I mean, and then the other part of me, it's like, fuck him, just be like, he resisted and we killed him.
Yeah, but so that's a big part of this movie, though, is that everybody else who was like the higher ups for the Holocaust had killed themselves.
Oh.
So nobody had faced the music regarding this.
Fair enough.
So that's where they were like, we really want to get this one. You know what I mean?
That's a good reason. But I understand that. I understand that.
So, but yeah, very good performances. I liked it a lot. It dragged a couple places. you know, kind of wish there was some more heisty stuff.
Okay.
You know, I think that would have made it. I guess it's not trying to be a fun movie, but
it's a drama.
But it would work in this instance. I think.
Does this feel like Oscar bait a little bit? I saw the trailer and it sort of felt like they were maybe going for that a little bit.
I don't think it's going to be nominated for. Maybe Ben Kingsley gets like a supporting actor.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't.
Right.
But no, I don't know. I thought it was. I didn't feel Oscar baited, but it was good to see Oscar Isaac. Speaking of Oscar,
right,
in like a movie like this,
right?
You know,
he's great.
Yeah, he's really good. Right.
I'm gonna put. I haven't even seen the movie. I'm gonna put my neck out there, and I'm gonna say that Ben Kingsley does get a supporting actor.
Okay.
Nod. You want to know why? It's because it's a period piece.
It's a period piece,
and it's Ben Kingsley.
And, yeah, well,
I mean that's all it is.
It's funny too because he played Itzhak Stern in Schindler's List, who was like the Jew guy.
Yeah,
you know, and now he's playing the Nazi guy.
He also played Gandhi.
He played Gandhi. He's the fucking man.
He is. He also played the Mandarin.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
His best role yet.
Wink. Yeah. His best role yet. Right. He played the Mandarin. What if when he dies, the Oscars do like that, you know, the in memoriam, and that's what they show as him from the Mandarin.
He's just sitting there watching the soccer match on TV. Away,
like in slow motion with the sad music. Yeah. Lady Gaga is serenading the audience with some. Yeah. Right.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Oh, I would hate it. I would be so pissed if they did that.
I'd clap. All
right. But yeah, so I saw that. Saw another movie.
Okay.
The Little Stranger. This one has, I butcher his name every time, but it's like Domhnall Gleeson. He is in like The Force Awakens as the Nazi officer guy.
He's the ginger.
Yeah, he's the ginger. That's correct. So this one's interesting. This one's an interesting one. It was directed by Lenny Abrahamson.
Okay.
Who directed Room, which was a great movie. So the plot of this is that there's this old mansion that this family has lived in for, you know, centuries or whatever.
Okay.
And as a boy, this Domhnall Gleeson character, Dr. Faraday, he like had seen it as a boy, like had always idolized this family that lived there. He ends up being like this. They flash forward X amount of years, and he ends up being like the family doctor who's called out there. Now this family that lived there was once this like highly regarded, like, you know, almost like the Waynes or something. Like now it's like the house is run down.
Oh, I remember in this trailer.
Yeah, there's a couple characters, a couple people that live there. There's like 3 people left in the family. The son is played by Will Poulter, who he was in some sort of an accident and he's all burned to shit. And then there's the daughter, played by Ruth Wilson, and then Charlotte Rampling, who was in the final season of Dexter, is in it as the mother of the family. So those are the only 3 left. Things aren't as they seem.
Yeah, there's some paranormal stuff, right?
Okay, yeah,
or at least it seems paranormal.
Yes, correct. Okay, I'm glad you did that because you haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, well, it's in the trailer, so
right. So the problem with this, and they set it up really well because there's a lot of character stuff in here where it's like you're constantly saying like, okay, well, what's off about this guy? Like they do a good job of making you question each character, question what's happening in the house. Is there something paranormal? Is there not? The problem with it is it feels like it's trying to be scary. And you know, it's just so slow. It's so slow. Like things don't happen in it. All the performances are good. The plot is good. I don't want to get too heavy into the plot because I feel like I could mistakenly give some of this away. But yeah, like there's a relationship between the Dr. Faraday guy and the daughter, and it's interesting. Like he's a bit like jealous because he was, as a kid, he looked up to this house, whatever. It's like, does he have some sort of like other thing in mind with this house, whatever.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would recommend it if you're not a person who, if you are going hoping to be like scared and like on the edge of your seat, this is not a movie for you. This is like, this could be a play.
Oh,
is what I would say.
Okay.
But yeah. Spoilers. Can I go into spoilers?
Sure.
All right, spoilers. So it ends up that Dr. Faraday is the fucking, like, he's just a paranoid fuck who's jealous and envious of this family.
Oh.
And he's the one, like, causing all these problems and shit.
Okay.
Like, one of the characters gets pushed, like, gets killed, murdered by him. Like, it's interesting as fuck.
Okay.
The ending was, like, the way it ended, I was like, fuck, I wish this was a better movie. You know what I mean? Like, because I really liked the idea, because about 25% of the way through the movie, I'm like, there's something off about this guy. And the way they did it was creative, too. Like, you don't realize it's a movie about, like, jealousy and how it fucks with your head and shit. But like during the movie, like she'll be dancing with someone and they'll just kind of cut to him just kind of like staring at her dancing with someone else, or you know, and you're like, ooh, and like just the way he looks at this house, it's fucking, but again, it's like they dropped the ball. It's too slow. It's too slow.
And that's coming from you.
I like slow shit.
And you can stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can stand some slow shit, but this was too much. It was just too much. And there were
C-
good
movie?
moment. Yeah. C-.
Yeah.
Better than The Nun.
Yeah. I'd imagine if I saw it, because I can't stand slow things as much as you can, I'd imagine it's probably a D plus for me.
Oh God, you see, it's one of those where it's like I wasn't having a good time watching it, but like I can understand why someone might really like it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like I can't say it's bad.
Right.
You know?
It's one of those movies where like you like the themes and you like like you said, you like the ending.
Right.
And
the ending was great. Yeah.
You know, but the meat is not good.
I was expecting more. I think it's at like, what's it at on Rotten Tomatoes? 58%. So yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair, I think.
Right.
But yeah. Did you see anything outside of The Nun?
I did not.
So we're at The Nun.
Yeah. The Nun cursed me from wanting to see anything else in the theater.
I don't blame you. What did you think?
I'm going to say one thing and I'm going to let you go. I'm going to unleash you like Tim Tebow. Unleash.
Yeah. Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless brought up twice. He's a prophet. He's the voice of a generation. So, The Nun. Not that bad.
Oh, Jesus.
Go.
This movie is atrocious. This movie is everything that's wrong with horror movies. You know, you get these good ones and then you get these assholes that are like, horror sucks now. This is why they think horror sucks.
Right.
Because this kind of shit it's the most fucking, it's a cash grab written all over it. It was made for about $37 and it made 130 million worldwide this weekend.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh,
the highest grossing Conjuring film thus far worldwide. Let that sink in.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's a cool looking character. It looks neat. The design of the nun is creepy. I thought it was pretty creepy in the second Conjuring movie.
It was. Yeah.
Well, now it's not. You know, there was a painting that I thought was involved in all this.
Right.
What was the deal with that painting?
I don't know. Didn't Lorraine
stop trying?
Didn't her husband see it or something?
Sure, yeah, she saw it, but wouldn't you work that into this new movie?
No, no,
but okay,
Jackson.
Okay, no, to be fair. By the way, this is the worst movie of the year. This is beating out the Puppet movie.
Okay,
I just want to get that straight right off the bat. Okay. This movie is the fucking worst. I hated it so much. I sat there with the girlfriend who's scared of everything. 10 minutes into it, I looked at her and I'm like, this is already just terrible. She's like, yeah, I walked in here like scared and now I'm not scared at all.
Right.
Every fucking moment of this movie where they try to scare you is awfully telegraphed. There's a scene where someone's going to drop from a tree, like hanging, I think. They're like out in a graveyard or something. And the way it's framed is like character A is in the foreground.
Right.
Right to the right of the camera.
Yep.
And there's what? Oh, gee.
What could possibly fill that other 2/3 of the screen?
Okay, here comes. Oh, there it is. Okay, good job. Every time they pan, like they'll be looking at a character, and it'll pan around the room.
Left, pan right.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Gee, I wonder.
Something showed up in the frame. I didn't see that coming.
It was embarrassing, and the fucking exposition, the way it's dumped in this. You know, like I had looked at her and I'm like, everything about this is like one character telling another character a story. And like 30 seconds later, they're at like a kitchen table or something. And he's like, let me tell you about the curse from whatever. And all of a sudden they go back and they show this fucking scene. It is the laziest movie I've seen this year. It is lazy.
It is
nothing is creative.
It is a very. I want to take my statement back, and it's only because I was hoping it would entice you.
Okay, so you admit this is terrible.
It's a bad movie. It's a bad movie. I don't know if I agree that it's the worst movie of the year.
Okay.
The way that this pissed you off is probably the way that The Meg pissed me off, as far as like unoriginality.
Sure, fair enough.
You know, poor execution of what could be decent concepts.
Okay.
But yeah.
The Meg was not original.
Yeah,
I agree,
and neither is The Nun.
This movie doesn't even act unoriginal in good ways. Like,
no.
You are not going to fool people when you have a jump scare every 13 seconds of your fucking movie by panning back and forth.
Yep.
Like, people were, this is another one where someone in this theater I was in, you could tell they enjoyed it. They laughed at the jokes in this. What's his name?
Jokes?
Frenchie got a bunch of laughs out of this guy. Little Frenchie, by the way. Go kill yourself, Frenchie.
Can we just do spoilers for this whole thing?
Yes, it's fucking terrible.
I love the fact that so this movie at points randomly becomes like a zombie / action movie instead of a horror movie, because he brings a shotgun and he shoots the problem. I don't like that. It's a ghost. You can't just shoot a ghost or a spirit or a demon. That you're taking all the tension out. And then there's at one point where he says something. It's full-on action movie at this point. He's like, the demon's got him up against the wall, and he's choking him, and he's all, you came to the wrong. You should not have come back, Frenchman. And he's like, I'm actually French-Canadian. Bang!
Yeah, there's a joke. That was a joke.
It's so fun.
They set it up earlier. Yeah. It's a joke.
Yeah. You know what I love about this movie, too? And it's something that anybody who's a fan of Monty Python will get this immediately. There is a literal holy hand grenade in this movie.
Yes, there is.
There is a vial inside a crystal ball of Jesus's blood.
It's so laughably bad.
It's so dumb.
The only concept I liked in this, and this is, period. I mean, this is it.
Right.
Was the idea that there are people that are they have to pray constantly to keep the demon at bay.
Right.
Neat idea.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't understand why they kept on, like, they meet, like, the creepiest nun ever, who just happened to be sitting in a chair behind them with a full, I talk like this.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking, and you don't see their face, and they're shrouded in darkness.
No, they act like, this is to be expected.
No,
that there
this
would
is
be
a
an
totally
old nun
normal
here.
nun.
Yes, right.
Yeah, who's not creepy at all. And they're like, yeah, let's stay in your convent. Sounds like a great idea. And then they're like, let's follow that thing over that way. Oh, there's a child who I killed in an exorcism. I'm going to follow him into the graveyard.
Okay. Let's just as scenes pop into my head, I'm just going to fucking go.
Yeah.
All right. So there's the scene where he goes into the graveyard and he falls into a grave.
Right.
And then he's buried.
Yeah. Happens in an instant, by the way.
Yeah, he's just buried there.
Yep.
it's physically real.
Yeah.
Because the nun chick comes out, and it's not like he imagined it, or I mean, no explanation as to how that happened.
Right.
Yeah, they could have done something with the Saved by the Bell thing, the old lore about how people used to get buried alive.
I actually thought that was one of the things I thought was cool, because I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true. That's where Saved by the Bell came from.
Ah, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, every grave has a little bell with a string going into the coffin, and you pull on it, and if somebody hears that,
buried alive.
You fucking know, right? Yeah. What the fuck? What was that? Like, how did that happen?
Right.
You know, and then she goes out there and they're all ringing or whatever, but she picks the right one, kind of.
Like this ghost this demon, like does things that make like no fucking sense at all, because they all start ringing and it's like, wait, but you buried this dude literally in like milliseconds. You're super powerful. Right. Why wouldn't you just come and hit her with like a fucking axe, man, and be done with it?
Well, okay, here. What's the goal of the demon in this?
Open the gate.
Open the gate, and I'm assuming
that means he's free or something.
Okay, so does it need to possess someone?
God, so I guess. I mean,
that's where I'm like, the rules aren't
right.
The rules aren't
it's
clear.
Like, it needs a soul to inhabit it. But I'm like, okay, well, the one nun that kicked off this whole movie killed herself.
Yes,
and the other one appeared to be killed in the catacombs.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other nuns who I don't really understand.
They don't exist.
Yeah,
I
don't really understand that.
They're the spirits.
So who's been praying to keep the ghosts away?
No one. Apparently, it was those two, and they were the last two, and now they're dead.
So then why doesn't the nun just leave and go into the world?
I don't fucking know. I didn't write this shit. It's fucking bad, man.
It was really bad.
Like.
And then the we're gonna go backwards from this, but the tie-in to The Conjuring, where by the way, Frenchie is the guy who was possessed in the original Conjuring movie that they showed the tape to. Isn't that cool?
No, that scene does nothing.
No, because all they did was go, oh, Frenchie has a thing on his neck.
This is where like the whole like Marvel post-credit scenes would come into play. Is you don't put that as your last scene, because that's not interesting. That's a post-credit scene.
Yeah, and it doesn't even work as that. It's just garbage. I fucking hated this. I was so ready to get up and leave this goddamn theater.
I'll be honest with you. So I went to see this because the time worked for me. I saw it in IMAX.
Jesus.
I didn't want to.
Oh, Jesus.
But it was a convenient time. There were 4 people, including me, in the IMAX.
Okay.
Now, you know this. They don't have the reclining seats in our IMAX.
They don't have the reclining seats.
So I literally took up the handrails
and slept.
And I laid down.
Did you fall asleep?
I didn't fall asleep. I just laid down comfortably. But I didn't hate it. I was just bored.
Oh, I hated this.
It's so boring.
This movie offended me to my core as a human being.
Well, for you, like, horror is your thing, so this is gonna trip a trigger on you.
Yeah, it's true. This was terrible. I mean, it was offensively bad at every turn. The characters sucked. I actually think the Farmiga girl, what's her name, sister, is the main character. I think she's a pretty good actress. She wasn't terrible, but the characters just.
They blow. Nobody's got arcs.
The beginning when the panel of cardinals are like, we're sending you to the... Oh, my God. And what's really annoying is, and this is what me and the lady talked about, we have to come up with a storyline about an evil nun.
Yeah.
That's basically all anybody knows.
Yeah.
We could fucking write some weird, like... nun training movie, like where they're at like a Harry Potter style school for like learning to be a nun, and there's some sort of a creepy creature, or
she comes at you with the ruler in the night.
You could do anything,
right?
Anything with this. This is like a fucking easy slam dunk fucking idea,
right?
Creepy nun. This is it? This is what you fucking came up with. An empty convent where there's no humans around. There's no characters to care about whatsoever.
Right.
You can't be scared when you don't care about the characters.
She knocks on the door and tells you the earth is only 4,000 years old.
What if there was like a nun? What if there was like a nun? What if you did a movie where like there's some like sexual deviance going on in the parish, and you have the students, and the nun is like covering for the cardinal or something, or the nun is fucking, or the nun killed the cardinal, or it is stuck in some sort of afterlife where she's not in heaven, she's not in hell, she's just what do you call it? What do you call it again? Purgatory. Yeah. You do something fucking clever. This is a joke. This movie makes no sense. The reason it's like they wrote it as they were going. They're like, okay, well, wait a minute. I forgot we had this thing. Well, let's just have our characters sit at a table, and we'll have one of them talk about some ancient tale from,
It's what it is it's every sort of cliche of evil castle haunting movie.
Oh, was that the clichéest of cliches?
Because they've got like the townspeople who are all paranoid. They've got the one guide who leaves and then has to come back.
Oh my God, when he came back as like the hero.
Yeah.
First of all, that scene, they had buried the fucking corpse that was in there.
Yeah.
They buried it, and then they go back and it's there.
But it's a ghost, Jackson. It's a ghost. Don't you? It's a ghost zombie.
I didn't put it back like that.
Yeah.
And then they bury it, and then the guy comes back and he fights it again.
Yeah, it's in a tub of frozen water.
Oh yeah, and then there's water in the church at the end.
There was what?
Like, because you needed the scene where the creepy nun rises out of the water.
Right. Yeah. And then it has like the Jesus parallel of like walking on water.
Yep. And then the blood falls in the water, and the blood multiplies, and the whole water turns
magic
into blood.
Well, it is Jesus's blood. It's pretty good stuff.
It was so bad.
I like the fact that they wasted all of Jesus's blood on,
if there's ever another demon,
we're fucked.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Wait a minute, though. And they didn't win, right?
Because it came out anyways in Frenchie. Frenchie got possessed.
So in The Conjuring 2...
Hold on. I like how they're like, this is just something...
Are they planning The Nun, too?
Oh, absolutely. What do you think?
Because they got to do the painting, and they have to explain how the nun is back.
130 million worldwide, one weekend.
Oh,
come on, it's coming. It's never going to end. It's the Nun cinematic universe.
This is just terrible. The fucking movie was so bad.
It is. It's so bad. It's so... like, it's one of those movies where it's everything bad about horror.
Right, it's the textbook why people laugh at horror.
Right, because like everybody makes the dumbest decisions in this. Like they stay in the convent, they go down in the thing when they're not supposed to. They follow somebody else. Like no nun is gonna walk away from you when you're like, hello, can I talk to you?
Yeah,
and they're
that's
just like
true.
They're just like keep going through like the fucking laundry. Who's putting up all this laundry? We got all these bed sheets everywhere. The ghosts are like, well, we got to commit to the fucking bit. What?
It's so stupid. Oh.
And then like every character is a cliche too, because like he's like, I'm sent to check out if things are still holy. I did an exorcism and I had to kill the boy. It's like, dude, that's kind of like a serious thing the Catholic Church has kind of had to deal with. Is like, is exorcism a real thing? And like, there have been people who have been killed because of it, and like, is that just straight up murder? Like, that's a serious issue, and they're just kind of like, I killed a boy.
Well, why do you even? We've done the exorcism thing,
right? It's
like,
done to death.
Do something different,
right?
You're making the fucking nun. Don't even have the nun be a demon yet. Just have it like the backstory of the nun. She's still human. Like, do the fucking.
There were things that I didn't hate.
Oh, I hated this.
There were things that I didn't hate, which was I did not hate the premise of like, and it goes back to your thing about it's just exposition fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
but
right.
I didn't hate the thing about like this evil lord from back in the day who built the castle, and he sort of built this gateway. I was like, that's kind of cool. It's a little like Ghostbusters 2-y kind of thing.
Yeah, but it would be more interesting if the movie actually took place during that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I hated the set design. I mean, we should talk about other things other than just the story. But I hated the set design because like it didn't feel real. Like it felt like we were in a set.
It felt really cheap.
Yeah, like when we were inside the castle, it felt very fake.
Yes.
Even the graveyard, like that just felt like standard.
It felt like something you would see in like an Evil Dead movie that Sam Raimi made with no money in like 1975. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it borders on like what people would do for Halloween for their fucking lawns.
Right. Correct. Totally. 100%. You could make a pretty sweet Halloween design easily.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Yes. It's just, what else was there? Oh, he stole that shopkeeper's gun. That was kind of rude.
Yeah, he's a prick.
He is kind of a prick.
He's fucking awful. Everything was awful. He's just trying to. You're talking about Frenchie, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's just trying to bang the nun. The whole movie. The girl who's going to become a nun.
Do you like our moment of triumph when she actually becomes a nun fully fledged?
It was so stupid.
Yeah.
No, I'm ready to take the vows. You're just like, oh.
Okay.
What different? What? And then she takes the vows. No change in her character. It means nothing.
You know what was maybe the greatest moment in the movie, though?
Oh, I can't imagine there was one.
The greatest moment is the whole movie. She's going, I keep on having these visions. And at the end, every time it says the same thing. Mary points the way. Mary points the way. They get into the catacombs. They find a fucking statue of Mary. She's literally fucking pointing with a beam of light. And he has this like slow like turn. He's like, well, you did say it, Mary. Slow turn to her. Mary points the way. Why?
What's the point of the beam of light? Was the statue not enough? That's fucking pointing?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we needed a fucking Indiana Jones reference.
Yes.
Fuck you. This movie's fucking garbage.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. The fact that there's people that like this, I mean, I'll never change their minds.
Right.
I can't do anything. God bless you if you enjoyed this movie. Yeah.
God bless you.
Keep ruining horror for all of us. Although I'm ruining it too because I still buy tickets to this kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, eventually, if this podcast ever takes off, we'll get some press ones and we won't have to contribute to the problem.
That's true. That's a good point. That's
because
true.
I don't like contributing to things like this. This was a movie I never would have seen if it weren't for this podcast. There are a lot of movies
I never saw. Hey, I didn't see the Annabelle movies.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so we deserve pats on the back. But
if you guys would like to request that we see the Annabelle movies, you can go to Bored Annoyed on Twitter.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
so let us know.
There, yeah.
Before we first off, what grade? You got a grade for this?
I don't know. Probably D minus. Probably
okay. F for me.
Yeah.
F minus. I said that I would give it if I could. But.
Well, you know what's interesting is like I always thought about this with like grades in school. F starts at like I don't know, like 60% or something like that.
Huge
like there's like
range of Fs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I feel like we need to stop giving grades because like for you, I'd imagine this is like a 20%.
Yeah, this
10%.
Is terrible. Yeah, this is garbage.
Yeah. So this is like probably one of the lowest.
I wanted to give the Puppet movie a 0.
Right.
Remember that? And this I thought was worse than that.
Oof, you're in the negative.
I hated this. I do want to mention before we leave, one of my favorite bands, Ghost. They played a show in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the end of May.
Yeah.
And I was at the show. A band member or a member of the crowd randomly during the intermission of the show hit the ground and had some sort of a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
Died.
Yeah.
Ghost canceled the show. Everybody went home. They have just sent out an email to those of us who had tickets to that show saying that they are coming back Halloween night this
cool.
year to finish the show, and that the person who died there have t-shirts made for the band, basically with Cardinal Copia, who's the main lead singer. He's the character. And this guy, his name was Jeffrey Fortune, both in Michael Myers costumes, holding
cool.
Michael Myers masks.
Okay.
And they are going to be selling those at this show with 100% of the proceeds to benefit the family. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them for doing that.
That
because
is really
they
awesome.
did not need to do that.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's you want bands like that to become bigger, because absolutely they didn't have to do
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
That's,
so I just thought it was kind of a neat thing. It's kind of related to movies because they chose Michael Myers as the,
Cardinal
Copia.
Cardinal Copia. He's got white makeup on. He's a little nun-ish.
He could be the character in The Nun.
Hey.
He could make a more interesting movie.
Nun 2 starring Ghost. Let's do it.
It sounds way better.
Nun 2 Ghost the band.
Yeah, there you go.
Hashtag it,
Right.
people.
Yeah,
Let's
there
get
you
it
go.
fucking trending.
But yeah, that movie is fucking terrible. And I'm hoping this weekend's kind of a big one. The Predator.
Yeah.
The Predator. I'm hoping it's not as bad as this, but
I don't think there's probably any way that you'll hate it more.
that's true. I don't know though, because you're fucking with something I like. You know what I mean? Like,
Fair enough. But you love horror.
that's true.
So
That's true.
yeah. But that's the end of the episode, guys. What a great, long episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week. Hit us up on all of our soch. I think that's what the kids say now, soch.
Right. Go to boredandanoid.com and tweet me. Let me know if there's anything I should be seeing, what you guys would be interested in hearing about. And yeah, thanks a lot for listening.
Hashtag watch Annabelle 2, Jackson. Get it trending.